Eagle Athlete here with the chairman. Here with JC. Palace 1, Southampton 2. Was he really that bad, or we just got undone by mistakes?
We were terrible, and we got undone by mistakes. I reckon the first 20, we actually played pretty well. Edouard scored. Hughes was putting in a good performance. So the two key players that we were looking at because of what has been happening lately. Vieira's not been playing them. Maybe Edouard's a little bit injured, but they both start off very strong. Silly foul by Decore, I believe, on the edge of the box. Ward-Prowse steps up. We're sitting here thinking, oh, this takes a good free kick, doesn't he? Whips in a good strike. Vicente Gaeta actually saves it pretty well, punches it away. I think not too long later, they have the same exact position of free kick and puts a good ball into the box. A good ball in the box is always going to goalwards anyway. VG puts way too much faith in the defenders because they don't put any heads on it. No Southampton heads on it, and he just watches it bounce straight into the net. Terrible keeping. I get that you want to trust in your players, but you can never take things for granted. That's what I think. Don't take anything for granted because football is a very harsh sport, and that was mistake 1. Mistake 2, he ain't no ball playing goalkeeper. He's not Edison. He's not Allison. Like, I'm still under the impression of at some points you have to play football like you've got Wayne Hennessy in goal. Just do not pass back. No matter what, you never pass back to Wayne Hennessy. And I think when you have guys who's having a shocker like he has been lately, you sort of have to go back to playing that way. You just can't give him the ball. You can't put him in that kind of dangerous scenarios where if someone puts a foot in, bang, they're in on goal. Adam Armstrong, even when he was running towards the goal, he was so bad that I thought he was still going to miss it. I still had faith, but it's just hard. It's hard to defend VG in any way, shape or form because he was dreadful today. And I think that if we do player ratings, he deserves a 0. And I think even himself needs to look at him and think, I had a bad game here. I really can't be upset if I get dropped from now.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I didn't think Palace played that badly. I thought when we went 1-0 up, Southampton were pretty much all over the place. I thought conceding the first goal, got them back in the game, they got confidence and they got on to that. Let's ask a question about the goalkeeper. With Sam Johnson fit now, do you think that maybe Vieira is too loyal to his players or he needs to drop players to show them that if you have a poor game, you need to be dropped?
Competition's always good, isn't it? Oh, gosh. Yeah, competition is always healthy because, mate, this ain't helping, is it? Competition's healthy because if you have a bad game, you will be dropped, yeah? And if you get dropped, you know what you're going to do? You're going to train harder, and you're going to try much harder, and you're going to want to get in the starting lineup for next week. And if you don't get in, you're going to try and train better than the other person who's in your position. Competition, healthy competition, is always good for a team because you'll help improve everyone around you and yourself.
I don't want to focus too much on negatives because there's plenty of them, but let's try and find a couple of positives. Edouard starting and scoring, and how about Hughes' midfield display?
As I said to Harry off camera, I think that I was very impressed with Edouard. He was chasing everything. He was trying as hard as he could. The touch to put him in on goal was incredible. The goal, he hit it with power and it was on target. You've always got a chance, even though he nearly missed it. To be fair, the keeper nearly saved it because he got it too close to the keeper. But remember, even just before he got subbed off, he was running at their players. I think there was a point where they were on the attack and he ran from their box all the way back to our box just to defend. I'm thinking that's the kind of mentality that our players need. Hughes, pretty much the same thing, ran that midfield up until 45 minutes. Unfortunately, 45 minutes happened, and then after that, he got taken off. I get why he got taken off, but because he hasn't played much and he ain't got his match fitness yet. But, you know, once he went, once Decore went, then we just fell apart, didn't we? There was no cohesion with the team whatsoever.
I won't ask you who was the man in the match because it was a very average display from pretty much everyone. It was just bad or average. I can't say anything more than that. But let's ask one question before we go. Palace getting a lot of good positions. They get a lot of movement outside the box. Why don't we shoot more when we're in positions?
You know what? I think they're embarrassed to shoot and miss. I think that's the thing with players. They like their ego is very big, and that's one thing I do like about Chet Decore because he'll just take a shot. If it goes flying over the bar, I don't think he really cares because he'll have another shot in the next 5 minutes. I'd much rather people have shots in terrible positions and not have shots whatsoever. We're trying to walk the ball into the net constantly now. We tried to do it a little bit even under Roy. We started just not shooting, taking too long on the ball. It's unfortunate because we've got the players that can score goals, and they've proved to us they can score goals if they shoot, but they're just not. And I don't know whether it's a mentality thing, whether Vieira says don't shoot unless you know you're going to score, or whether it's just a lack of confidence. But I don't want to go into this lack of confidence thing because we've done it for 3 years with Benteke and we saw how that turned out.
Last quick question. I'm not going to say about today's game. Next week we're going to Chelsea. Score prediction for next week.
Conor Gallagher hat-trick, 3-0 loss. Have that, up the Palace.
Up the Palace.